Hello, church. Today we're looking at Ezekiel 10, and we're continuing the visions of Ezekiel. And this particular session is, let's call it an awesome, awful, dreadful vision that Ezekiel has. Lots going on in here. Let's see if we can look at just some of the basic premises. Starting in verse 1, then I looked, and behold, in the firmament that was above the head of the cherubim, there appeared over them as it were sapphire stone, as the appearance of the likeness of a throne. So we're looking at a divine throne. And then God speaks, and he speaks to the cherubims that are gathered around, and he speaks to them, and he talks to them about getting fire. Get fire from the chariot, and get fire and scatter it out. So not only, as Bob shared yesterday, that Jerusalem going to be overrun by the Babylonians, it's all going to be burned. There's going to be fire. There's going to be burned. And the fire also signifies the purity of God. These coals, these burning coals. Remember Isaiah had the vision. And in Isaiah's vision, they took a coal from off the altar and purged his lips and purified him from sin. This is also a purifying fire, purifying coals, but in Ezekiel's case, the Lord said, who's going to go and who's going to spread the word? And Isaiah said, here am I, send me. It was a commissioning, it was a calling. Here it's a judgment. The coals are going to be scattered across Jerusalem. Judgment of God is going to fall. And it speaks of the glory of God. Now in verse 4, then the glory of the Lord went up from the cherub and stood over the threshold of the house. And the house was filled with the cloud, and the court was full of the brightness of the Lord's glory. So again, in the temple, God's glory fills the place. We're studying that on Wednesday night when they put up the temple, and God's glory settled on the temple. And then again, when Solomon built the temple, and God's glory fell on the temple. And God's glory is in the temple here, but it's a glorious judgment. He's coming in fire and judgment. And then he gives directions to the cherubim and the wheels and the faces and a lot of symbolism here. But I want to get back over to verse 18, because we're going to see a change here. Not a change, but a continuation, but a change of position. Then the glory of the Lord departed from off the threshold of the house and stood over the cherubim. So the glory of God is risen. It's off the floor. The floor is the ground level. That's where the people are. Now he's above the cherubim. And the cherubims lifted up their wings and mounted up from the earth in my sight. Then they went out, the wheels also. And the glory of the Lord of Israel was over them above. So you have the glory of the Lord at ground level with the people in the threshold. And then he rises above the cherubim, the angelic beings. And then the angelic beings take off, and the glory of the Lord is still above them. So what's that mean? The glory of the Lord has departed. The glory of the Lord has departed from Israel. He's left the temple. He's left his people. And we're going to see the Babylonians are going to come in soon and take them over. And then one thing in the very last verse there, in the very end, they went up, every one straight forward. The angelic beings did exactly what God said and went straight forward and did exactly what God said. They were instantly, divinely obedient. How about me? How about you? Are we instantly, divinely obedient and go straight forward when the Lord gives us a word? Something to ponder today as we look at all this symbolism and this vision that Ezekiel has as recorded in Ezekiel 10.